Hi, I have dyspraxia, and in this video, I will be explaining what dyspraxia is. Dyspraxia is a neurological disability that affects roughly around 1 in 10 people, and most of those people don't really know that they have it, since a lot of people will overlook the symptoms. They may not know what the symptoms are. Very little is known about the disability, unfortunately. And recently, more and more people are trying to get the word about dyspraxia out there, so more people will know about dyspraxia. Dyspraxia will mainly target your fine and gross motor skills and will affect other aspects of your life, which I will go over as well. I might break this down into 2 different videos. I don't know how long this video will last. I don't want to take too long in one video to explain everything. I will possibly break, depending if this video gets too long, we'll do a part 2. And one of the areas that it affects is the gross motor skills. And one of the areas in that group would be poor balance, which I will lose balance extremely easily. I can't ride a bike because I have poor balance. Another is poor posture and fatigue. Another would be poor interrogation of both sides of the body, or poor hand-eye coordination, which I have horrible hand-eye coordination. If I'm playing catch or playing baseball or whatever, I can't really catch the ball very easily because of it. Dyspraxics normally tend to have a lack of rhythm when it comes to their gross motor skills, or they are more, or they would have more of a tendency to be clumsy or have exaggerated movements. Like if they were going to run, uh, their hands would be moving a whole lot more, or they would have a tendency to fall, trip, or bump into people or other things around them because they have, part of it would be a small awareness of their surroundings. Another group would be the fine motor skills. One would be a lack of manual dexterity into hands, and other two-handed tasks. Or they would have poor manipulative skills, like typing, writing, and drawing, as in they would have harder times writing clearly or whatever. They would have an adequate grasp, difficulty using tools and domestic implants, or, excuse me, uh, difficulty in getting dressed or grooming themselves, like brushing the hair, brushing the beard, shaving, whatever. Another area would be a poorly established hand dominance, as in they may use either hands at instead of using one dominant hand, which I normally tend to use my right hand as a dominant hand and very rarely use my left. Yeah, but at some dyspraxics will alternate hands in different areas or at different times. Another would be their speech and language, which could fall under speech apnea, which makes it just harder for them to pretty much speak. Some may talk continuously, may repeat themselves, like they would say one thing and then repeat it. I'm sure that was common sense, or whatever. I'm sure you know what I meant. They may have an unclear speech and unable to pronounce certain words, which I do have harder times pronouncing certain words, which I normally try to avoid at all costs, and I'm normally good at it. They may have an uncontrolled pitch, volume, and rate when they're speaking, which I feel like I would have an uncontrolled volume from time to time. I will catch myself speaking quietly when I don't mean to speak too quietly, or I will speak too loudly when I don't mean to speak too loudly. So, another would be eye movement. Some symptoms under eye movement that people with dyspraxia will have will experience tracking difficulty in tracking or following smoothly with eyes without excessive head movement, which if they're trying to track something that's moving, they might jerk their head towards what they're moving, what's moving while they're tracking it. They may have a tendency to lose place while reading, which if I do read, I do have a harder time keeping same place. And poor relocating of certain places where things may be placed. And another area would be perception. Some areas in perception would be poor visual perception, which I have poor visual perception myself. They may have oversensitivity to light, which I don't think I have an oversensitivity to light. They may have difficulty to distinguish sounds from background noise, which I do have difficulty. They have over or under sensitive touch. As in they may have a hard time figuring out what the texture is, or they might have an oversensitivity to that texture. They may have an over or under sensitive to smell, taste, temperature, and or pain. Uh, Another would be a lack of awareness of body position and space, as well as spatial, yeah, relationships. As in, someone might be standing like 2 inches from someone and may not fully realize that they are within someone else's personal space or personal bubble, which, people have told me to back up a little a couple times, just because I wasn't 100% aware that I was sitting a little too close. Yeah, they have little sense of time, space, distance, or weight, which time management, their speed, their distance, or judgment of weight will be poor at certain times. My judgment of time will be poor as well, or they have an inadequate sense of direction, which I have poor sense of direction myself. And since this video is getting a little too long, I will separate it into a part 2. So I will see you guys in the next video.